So I started life training as a physiotherapist at University of Melbourne back last century in the early 1990s, and had a great time. I worked for 10 years as a physio in lots of different places. I had an absolute ball. Then I started to burn out a little bit, and I drifted towards more the teaching side of physiotherapy. So teaching physiotherapy students how to become physiotherapists. They lumbered me with the most boring lectures that they could find that no one else wanted to do, which were evidence-based practice, which was how do you review research to help you make better decisions. But I actually did find it genuinely fascinating. So I kind of drifted into this area called evidence-based practice, which is a group of people, in layman's terms, who find knowledge from around the world so that clinicians don't have to read it. They filter it in terms of, how good is the research, what's the key things you need to do differently, and then they write things called clinical practice guidelines, which tell people this is what you do after a patient has a stroke, this is what you do if you think someone's got low back pain, this is what you do if you want to do this particular test. But then I kind of got interested in implementation science or behaviour change, which is, okay, once you've assembled the knowledge, what are the barriers that you have to leap over for people to do things differently? Most clinicians and most people who are given opportunities to do things differently tend to resist because they like their autonomy and they like doing things their own way. So that opened up a whole world of why do people do the things they do, what motivates people to keep doing something. And I joined BehaviourWorks in 2015, and I started a health portfolio because of my background as physio. I started a portfolio of work around people doing things differently in health. And then for the last 5 or so years, I've really gone back to review science. How do we get knowledge into the hands of people? And if you think back from the 1990s to like 2024, post-COVID era, the availability of knowledge and the ways that we can access now make that original problem, how do you keep up with knowledge, just exponentially harder. So I've come at it very much from the knowledge side, but understanding what the behaviour change side is. One of the things that we say a lot at BehaviourWorks is who needs to do what differently? And I guess I'm sort of in the what differently bucket, right? So how do you cogently bring all that knowledge together from all around the world and put it in a language that makes sense to people, but also in a way that makes it easy for them to do things differently with good reasons? So that's the challenge, is really that global library of knowledge is just so big now. In review science, artificial intelligence offers a lot of promise. AI is becoming incredibly useful in what we call the volume-intensive tasks of assembling knowledge. It's basically like a librarian that's going to every library in the world at the same time, and it's coming back and saying, here's what I found of these words that you are interested in. But there's a couple of extra steps. One is AI at the moment is probably not as advanced as it will end up being in appraising the quality of the research. But like other areas, I think that there'll always be a human in the loop in terms of what does this actually mean for what I do.